Hi guys, it's Luton here. I'm back in London now. I'm tired. I'm really tired. I had a very long day today. I was up crack of the dawn and I've been all around, done it all. I wanted to give you this video today to talk a little bit about what's happened and so on and so on. I can't put up any Battlefield footage for tonight because we're still under embargo until the next day, tomorrow basically. Now, although you may have seen the footage actually up online, a lot of videos have been removed and a lot of channels have had strikes put against them because that stuff is not meant to be posted up yet by other producers. I haven't, and you will notice that other people who went to the event shouldn't have posted footage so far. That's why, for example, Levercap has only done the same thing, a vlog. I did my short little ones. I really didn't have the time or the possibility out there to make a longer video talking about the things that we've done. So I wanted to do that, and I wanted to show you a couple of things as well today. So one of the main things that I've been messaging about was the fact that I got to meet Lars Gustafsson and Carl Magnus, Carl M, the general manager and creative director of DICE. This was a massive deal for me. It was so exciting. And whilst, you know, a lot of questions that people want to be answered are not going to be able to be answered at this stage, it's unrealistic to just expect that because they're not going to come out and say it. DICE will not give you those kind of details yet. However, from talking to the guys, I did glean some pieces of information, and from talking to Lars, particularly when he arrived at the event in the evening. It was very late on in the event. Me and Jack Frags stayed on quite late into the evening. A lot of the other guys went off home, but me and Jack stayed on, and as we were waiting around there, Lars and Carl came in, and we managed to have I just ended up having a long conversation with Lars, which was fantastic. It was just great fun. It was so nice to talk to him, and it was a very insightful experience. It was just really nice to really get one-to-one and get inside, you know, somebody like that, to hear it from their mind basically. And one of the most amazing things for me was that when we were talking about how difficult it is for a developer to produce titles and to try and strike that balance that's right when you're trying to produce a game and you want it to be different enough that it appeals to people, but it needs to be similar enough that the content remains consistent throughout the series. And he almost took the words that I have said multiple times in my video, almost word for word, out of my mouth when he was saying about how difficult that is and how he understands it's probably one of the most hard things to do as a developer, to try and hit that balance right, and why it's difficult. So for me, that was a really big accolade. Some good fun stuff. Here's my lanyard from Battlefield 4. This was the thing that obviously you have to wear to kind of get in anywhere when you're at these places. And you think, okay, yeah, that's kind of cool. It's pretty cool when your lanyard has been signed by the general manager and creative director of DICE, though. I think I'll be keeping this for quite a while. So that was one big awesome thing. We got some other cool free stuff. We got these. Now, these were at the theatre, and they were there for everyone. Mine's got tangled up. Okay, so it's a bag, alright, and it's just a DICE bag. When I can find the right way around for it. This is because all my stuff's a mess and I just got it back. Okay, DICE bag, alright. And then also, in the DICE bag, you've got these. And I was joking. I said it looks like Battlefield 4 condoms, and somebody on Twitter said this, and then my girlfriend was like, "Yeah, Battlefield condoms, prepare for battle." So I laughed even more that on the back, if you're talking about Battlefield condoms, it says adult use only on the back. So I thought these are actually dog tags. These are exclusive dog tags. You cannot get these anywhere until I hear, perhaps later. There might be the possibility that you can get these later on, but for now, you cannot get these anywhere. So, I have a pair. Everyone that went had a pair. I have 2 others that I can give away to you guys. So I basically got 3 of these bags. So I've got 2 more of these that I can give away for you guys. Well, there also is in here this thing. Okay. And this is also, it's basically, it's a nice little pack thing, alright, artwork. And then also on here, it's an iPhone 4 gel skin, so you can slap that on your phone. Trout, when we were out there, he actually put it on his phone, and I have to say, it looked pretty good. Like, I was a bit like, I don't really like these things myself personally, so I might even give my own one away. Or I might just keep it though, just as kind of like, you know, memento. But yes, I got 2 of these as well. So I got 2 of these and 2 of these, and obviously the bags that go with them. So I'll be giving those away. And then a couple of us managed to secure these. This is great. This is a good one for me. It's this. Okay, you want to check these guys out. It's Q-Pad. All right. It's basically a gaming pro mouse mat. Now, I obviously, as you know, I can use my Frag FX and I have my board, but also, like I've talked about, I might get a PC sometime, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to make another video about that another time. Sometime. That doesn't necessarily mean to say that I would play Battlefield 4, okay, on PC, but I may be getting a PC at some point. Anyway, so it's this. Okay. Which I have to say is great. Seriously, it feels so good. And the surface is awesome. I cannot wait to try this out. I'm going to be trying it out tomorrow, guaranteed. Well, maybe if I'm not editing like really hard. But yeah, this is awesome, and I love the hell out of it. It even has nice little grips that you can place on the bottom here to make it sort of, you know, stick. So yeah, I'm going to be using this bad boy, and I'm very, very happy with it. It's awesome. That was free. So that's another cool thing. Something that I can put to good use, but there's other things I can give to you guys, which is really cool. So anyway, onto the game itself. The game itself, as we've seen, was personally I thought it was awesome. I absolutely loved everything about it. I am sure that many people, I mean, one thing that everyone has said is they said, oh, it's very cinematic, and I think people are under the impression that a lot of those sort of sequences there were kind of pre-rendered. But I know from speaking with Stefan, who is the head of the sort of single-player story design there, he said specifically that those sequences you saw, which appear to be cinematic, are not. They're all full in-game engine. They're live. So those are live footage. So all those sequences you see where they're going from one to another, that's not pre-rendered. It's actual in-game stuff. So it's all live, and it's all like as you would play from one sequence to the next. So that's one, you know, thing that maybe clarify a little bit for people. Now, talking about multiplayer, we can put that aside for now. The actual single-player game itself, we saw a lot of things that people have talked about. Okay, the optics. You've got the little switching optics. I don't need to elaborate on all this stuff because a lot of people have seen it, and I can show it again tomorrow and I can talk about it more then. This is just to give a kind of vague overview and sort of so on and so on. We also got these breakdown sessions, all right, afterwards, and nobody else, you guys would get the footage, but you didn't get these other things that you only got if you were there. And basically after the actual showing the event in the theatre, we went back to the big party thing, and I've got some footage of that as well. But then we also had these individual breakdown sessions, and what that would be is we went to look at different elements of the game. So we went to look at the creative side, and we had a speech, a discussion about the creative side with one of the lead art directors there. And then we went in and we talked about the new Frostbite 3 engine, and we got to hear some stuff about the Frostbite 3 engine. And then we went into another one, we were looking at the single player with Stefan and the story, and he was explaining to us about that. I have to say the story element was one thing that really got me thinking, because a lot of people have said about how they didn't really appreciate or they didn't like the Battlefield 3 single player, but I actually think that's often to do with how people approach these things and the way that they perceive these things. And again, I'm sure, and I have seen already, a lot of kind of semi-negativity around going, oh, it's only single player, it's not very good, blah, blah, blah. I think that's way too negative from the word go. I know Battlefield 3 has come from a multiplayer background, but they have had multiple single-player storylines, and I think they really seek to improve it. And I know from speaking with Carl M., it was something that he is really adamant about, this idea of developing a storyline. So don't be under any illusion that Battlefield is going to go back to being just multiplayer only. They are adamant that they want the single player to be a strong element of the title, and he even went as far to say that they know that a proportion of people buy their title for the single player element, and he said they know that, and they've taken that into consideration. So that's one thing that they're doing, and I say that's from the general manager. So how much more do you want it? There are a few other things. Multiplayer, I can tell you in other videos, but whilst they haven't said anything specific about multiplayer, from the guys that I spoke to there, the DICE people, I heard a few elements about multiplayer. I heard that, you know, there's nothing going to be specific at this stage because they just can't. They will not say anything like that. However, I did get told on several occasions that they would say to me things like, without saying anything, we are very aware of this, blah, blah, blah. So it's as good as saying they are looking at that. And I know that for one thing, competitive was one thing that they mentioned. So that they are focusing on that, they are aware. I think it would almost be a conclusion that Battle Record is going to be in. I would be confident to say that. There's some other bits and pieces you guys can talk to me about. I didn't get a chance to bring up some things. We didn't get a chance to talk about Titan and Commander, but even then, those things wouldn't have been confirmed. However, we did get to see some things. They were talking about the attack boats and stuff like that, and they had mentioned that that's going to be an element. So what you're going to have is you're going to have jet skis, you're going to have attack boats and ribs. Okay, so there's going to be a lot more boat action. We did even see a little bit there of like the ribs and stuff attacking what looked like an aircraft carrier. Now, whether or not those aircraft carriers could actually be Titan mode, and we discussed the possibility of kind of having, you know, 2 aircraft carriers, and that is your Titan mode. You're combating one against another, and you have all these different boat vehicles. But the fact that they're bringing more boat, you know, sort of oceanic vehicles into the game is really awesome in itself. It'd be really enjoyable. I hated it when they took away the jet skis from Bad Company 2. That was a really nice sort of feature, so it'd be great to get those back in as well. So I want to wrap this up, but it was just to give you a little bit more of an overview, a little bit more of detail about the things that I did. We managed to have, like I say, a good couple of conversations with the guys at DICE. One other great thing was that I know that Gustav Halling was there, and I had a good chat with him. And well, we were at the bar actually, but we had a really great chat. And it was funny because he was trying to find me on Twitter. He was messaging me. We have no internet connection there apart from the hotel Wi-Fi, so I had no way of knowing this. And until Lundapar, who works for Don't Revive Me Bro, he came and grabbed me and brought me over, and he was like, Luton, Gustav is here. And it was great. We had a really nice chat, and you know, Gustav was saying about how he watches my channel all the time, which I was really surprised about. I know that some DICE people actually watch my channel, but I didn't realise that he was a big fan or watched, you know, all my stuff. So that was really nice to hear and see. And a couple of the other guys there as well noticed me, and when they were saying, oh, Luton, and it's like, great. One thing, a name drop as well for Pixel Enemy, when I met Lars and Carl, and they both looked at my lanyard to see kind of, you know, exactly who you are. And he looked at my lanyard and he was like, oh, Pixel Enemy. So they knew straight away, which was a really great thing as well. That was a fantastic thing there. It was just really nice. But overall, I just had a fantastic experience. I say the last thing as well, the great little coup for me. I will post the pickup, not on this video, probably on another one or something like that when I'm doing my full kind of breakdown or whatever. But right at the end of the evening, people clearing out. There's these big banners at the background saying Battlefield 4. And Lars and Carl had gone up there, and someone was taking their photo, and I was like, I'm getting in on this. I'm having my picture taken. It's me. I'm going to have my picture. So I ran round, and I'd already kind of spoken to them. So I was like, guys, I was like, I want my picture. Someone had my camera, and so I managed to get my photo taken with Lars and Carl there in front of the big Battlefield 4 banner, which for me, it's just a personal thing. It was awesome. I loved it. Nobody else got that, because I was the only person there with, apart from Jack, and there's about like 30 other people sort of all milling around and stuff. And yeah, it just was awesome. So that's a big keeper for me. I was thinking actually that I might grab all my bits and pieces, like my lanyard and stuff, and I might put them together in a nice frame, like along with the photos that I've got taken and stuff, because this whole thing was just such a fantastic experience. When I come to doing my videos, I've got stuff to go through, because obviously I literally only got home about 2 hours ago, so I haven't had a chance to go through all the stuff that I have. I've got some dictated audio on my phone here. I've got some video on my camera, obviously the interview that I did, which I need to go and get post-processed, etc. Hopefully we're going to have that ready for the weekend for you. I should also say that my interview that I did with Carl M, it was great. It was such a good opportunity. The trouble is that was done on the fly. Me and Wintergore didn't know necessarily that we were going to have this opportunity. We knew we were going to DICE, but we never expected that we were going to get this. It was like 15 minutes. We had a 15-minute interview with Carl M, which was unbelievable, and we really didn't expect that we were going to get this. So I had no idea, and we were almost a bit unprepared, because it was literally like Dan turned around and said, you guys are interviewing Carl, and we were like, oh, okay, right, well, we better do it, you know, and it caught us off guard a little bit. Luckily, I had my camera The trouble is that my camera, whilst the optics are great, the audio is never great with those cameras, so we need to try and work on that a little bit, try and bring it out as best we can. But the important thing about, we're also going to add subtitles with it, so it's an option for CC if people want that, just so that you can kind of get out of it. Because the important thing about that is the content. It's about the content of discussing with him. It's not a film, okay? So it's just about discussing with him. But either way, I think it's going to be good. So I'm looking forward to that one a lot. So guys, tomorrow when we've got Battlefield 4, it's going to be up. I have to say, I tell you, I'm working and I'm doing things this week, so I'm really busy. I will be putting out content there, but just be rest assured that, you know, there's going to be a lot of content around this week. There's going to be a lot of content, people giving opinions floating around. But the guys that were there, the guys who were in San Francisco, the guys that were in Stockholm, they're going to be the ones whose opinions that you want to listen to, because those guys were there, they were talking to DICE employees, they were getting the on-the-ground reactions, they got the breakdowns, they got the whole experience, and they really will have the proper perspective. A lot of other stuff is just gesticulation, it's just kind of guesswork or estimated guesses, and it's looking at content and going, well, we see this here at frame 2x371, and from looking back to frame 3, we know that there's a... Yeah, it's not always about breaking down individual elements and spotting tiny little things in there. There's a lot of other things that go into it, and part of that is discussing and having conversations with people, like my conversations with Gustav, where, you know, I spent 45-50 minutes discussing his whole back catalogue history of Battlefield. We talked about all titles, we talked about all the Bad Company titles, Vietnam, we talked about why he liked them, the differences, the decisions that he'd made, all of these things. So, you know, for me, I feel like I have a much stronger and more accurately informed opinion about DICE, Battlefield, and where they're going towards. And I know some of the guys said that from like the art direction breakdown that we had, that was very insightful, because, you know, a lot of people really didn't understand about some of the processes they go through and how complicated and deep they are and what they're really trying to understand. And I know some of the other guys there said that they came away with a greater respect and a more, just a greater strength of understanding about what it's about, Battlefield. And I have to say again, just from me talking to Lars, when he came down at this sort of after party and he was there, and I was just started chatting to him, and then he was talking to me and he wanted to talk to me, and we were having this great conversation. But just, he was like so passionate about it, both him and Carl, and of course all the DICE employees. But just to have him there, and he couldn't get enough of talking about it. You know, he loves it to death. And to hear that from those guys, you really see that this is more to them than just a product to sell. It's like their life work. It's what they've done for the good last 15 years or more. It's what they're all about. And I think that is really what comes across. And that's what these events are about. And that's hopefully the way that I'm going to push my videos forward this week when I'm talking about these products. It's not about just single technical elements. It's about the game, the series, and the franchise as a whole. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you've enjoyed this. I'm going to get some sleep because I'm wrecked. I swear to God, I'm so tired. I don't even know how. I think I've had like 8 hours sleep in the last 3 days or something, so I am moderately tired. I'll see you guys next time for some Battlefield 3 or 4. Battlefield 4 this week. See you next time.